Hi, it's Jen. So I just got back from New York, from State of the Union, or from covering the State of the Union, I should say. And there are so many things to digest after speeches like this. First of all, this speech was part Trump game show host, part Trump kind of sharing all the gory details of horrible crimes in detail, where some of the people who were impacted were in the audience, which was a very strange part of it, part sort of policy speech that sort of kind of that included things that most people in the country hate, like tariffs and like his immigration policy. But also in this speech, which was nearly 2 hours, there was bound to be some weird, wasn't there? So here are a couple weird moments from the speech. In case you didn't see them, I felt like you should see them.
You know, they put it on my desk. We got the money from tariffs and other things, a lot of money we have. We have much more money than people understand. Have to rebuild that program a little bit, but it won't take long. But we got the money. So in my first year of the second term, should be my third term, but strange things happen. People in this chamber who voted for those disasters suddenly used the word affordability, a word. They just used it. Somebody gave it to them.
I mean, there's more where that came from. Sometimes the man riffs. A lot of that seemed to be in the teleprompter. Who knows? But my point is, there were many moments, and I was sitting on the set with a number of my MS Now colleagues, where people said, what? What is he saying right now? And that was literally how we reacted for many moments in the speech. But what's often also interesting about speeches like this, especially Trump speeches, is not just what he's saying, but also what is happening in the room. And you may have seen some of these, but there were a couple of moments that happened in the room that I thought were also quite telling. So I wanted to share some of those with you as well. Okay, the first one is before the speech even began, Congressman Al Green held up a sign, and I'm going to show you just a picture of the sign so you see it and know what it said. It said, "Black people aren't apes." Now, this sign was in response to, or in reference to, the fact that Donald Trump had just posted a photo pretty recently depicting former President Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama as apes, which is obviously incredibly disgusting and offensive. And how is this even possible from Donald Trump? But that's what that sign was about, that Congressman Green was holding. Now, of all of the things that Donald Trump says and does, including during the speech where he was yelling at Democrats in the audience, where he was just depicting stories in detail that were bloody and gory and horrible moments in people's lives, where he was lying through his teeth at most moments, of all the things people could be mad about, this sign seemed to get under some people's skin. And there was this moment, which I didn't even see until after the speech, where Senator Markwayne Mullin, a senator of the United States of America, people elected this man, was so moved he had to basically rush Congressman Al Green. I just want to show you this moment because, again, this man is a senator. This happened last night. Really? I mean, you felt so moved about a sign a man was peacefully holding that was responding to something the president of the United States you stood and clapped for multiple times had actually posted about a former president. That's what moved you in that hall? Look, he seems angry, like extremely pissed off. What is going on with you, Markwayne Mullin? This is the thing that is making you so mad. Okay, so that happened. That was an interesting moment. There's always interesting moments when presidents walk in and out. Well, what's interesting is like, who wants to talk to them? Who wants to shake their hand? Not everybody wants to shake their hand. There are a bunch of people who wanted to shake Donald Trump's hand. There were some weird moments where the cabinet kind of ran out of people to talk to. I mean, I guess who wants to talk to RFK Jr. On the way out? Maybe Kid Rock, but otherwise, I don't know. But there was this moment as Trump was walking out where Troy Nehls, who was another odd duck in Congress, he had this tie depicting Donald Trump on it. And I just have to show you this moment too, because this was another particularly weird moment. Okay, so there he is. Donald Trump is seeing the tie. He loves the tie because, of course, the tie has Donald Trump's face on it. And what does he love more than things that depict him? And he wanted to sign the tie, and Troy Nehls is like, please sign my tie of your face on it. I don't know what this tells you other than Troy Nels is obviously hardcore MAGA, still committed to MAGA. Why he had that tie on Trump, he probably loves the man even more now because he had the tie on and because he got to sign it. But that moment just stuck out with me just to tell you kind of the weird that happens in the halls of Congress. That is part of the weird. And last night, and you may have seen this moment, but last night early in the speech, there was a moment where all of the men's hockey, not all of them, many of the members of the men's hockey team that just won the Olympic gold medal came in up in the balcony into the State of the Union. And this moment was, you can see it right there on the screen. They won the gold medal. They came in. Now, this, what all preceded this is, I think, what has been kind of a slight trauma, even as we all rooted for and cheered for. I was out of my couch cheering on my feet for them when they won the gold medal. But it was a moment where after they won the gold medal, of course, Kash Patel was chugging beer. Donald Trump called them, invited them. There was a creepy and offensive and completely rude chuckle around the room in response to Trump saying he had to invite the women's team too. All of that happened. So I have felt, as a sports fanatic and also an Olympics huge super fan, I have felt just, I couldn't even articulate into words how I was feeling about all of this. And that moment last night kind of reminded me. And then Sarah Wiles, and I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. I now follow her on Instagram. She is hilarious. But she posted this video and I felt like it articulated everything I was feeling, maybe everything you were feeling about it. So I just wanted to play some of that for you too.
This message is for the U.S. men's hockey team from a hockey fan married to a lifelong player raising a son in travel hockey. No one is surprised that Donald Trump called you and made a joke at the expense of the gold medal winning U.S. women's hockey team. But we're disappointed in you who took the president's phone call and then laughed about the joke about inviting the women. The women, as in the most dominant program in U.S. hockey history. Yeah, the U.S. women have won 3 gold medals, and so have you. In fact, they've medaled in every single Olympics since women's hockey was introduced in 1998. So yeah, they have as many gold medals as you do, but they've actually done it in a quarter of the time. So historically, they're the most consistent and dominant program of the two. And yet somehow you get the majority of the headlines. You get the spotlight and the cultural relevance and the lucrative brand deals. Imagine joking about the team that set the fucking standard. Is that insecurity? Or are you just so used to centering yourselves you didn't even clock it?
Bravo. I could not have said it better. It was perfectly said. It captured everything I was feeling in my heart and soul. I loved everything, down to the hockey jersey, to the microphone on the American flag. I now follow her and I love her content. But hopefully that captured for you what you may have been feeling about all of this as well. We can all still be hockey fans. We all still love the Olympics. I do, at least. I personally now have like a special place in my heart for the women's hockey team. And the thing that was actually very fun that did happen around all of this is that Flavor Flav, you know who he is. He has issued his own invite to the women's hockey team, which I kind of love. Yeah, there we are. Let's just show it one more time on the screen, because if the USA women's hockey team wants a real celebration and invite, I'll host them in Las Vegas, do some nice dinners and shows and good times. I'm sure I can get a hotel and airline to help me out here and celebrate these women for real, for real. I love this so much. That seems way more fun than sitting through a 2-hour State of the Union speech. I would also like to come and we can cover it on the show and talk about all the things. So with that, we love a good ending. And thank you, Flavor Flav, for making this sort of happy. And we'll see what the women's hockey team does.